Greetings everyone, welcome to our IT Market Review. I am Millicent Singson and I am an ICT software engineer with an experience as a full stack .NET developer, business analyst, product owner, and project lead. I have worked as a data analytics professional at Maya, Manulife, Demand Science, and Pointwest. Currently, I am a well experienced and practicing data scientist working under different industries or covering different domains such as fintech, insurance, marketing, human resource, and outsourcing or consulting companies. Now, as someone who is interested to pursue a career or expand your professional growth in IT, these are the criteria that you need to consider. First, it is important for you to go through different job postings from professional websites and even the company's career pages in order to know about the number of vacancies. Second, understand the market rate competition because there could be a wide variation among industries and organizations. Lastly, the complexity of studying as this will tell you the amount of effort you might need and the career track best fit to your skills and to the new skills that you want to acquire. Currently, this is the state of our Philippine IT market. In general, IT professionals have an average salary of 70,000 pesos. We have 1.3 million IT employees here in the Philippines right now in year 2022. And we have more than 100,000 new vacancies monthly whenever you check different websites. And the good thing is that an opportunity could also be good for you since 40% don't have any technical background. So, in terms of the different survey results, IT specialists here in the Philippines, 86% of them say that they are satisfied with their salary and the career opportunities that they have. 80% said that they like their profession and they enjoy their daily tasks. And lastly, 70% won't leave their profession even if they have enough money for their living. So you will see that most likely most of these IT specialists are now seeing their profession as their passion. Now, one thing that I would really like to share about the advantages of working in IT is the remote or hybrid work setup. Most companies are now really open to this setup, unlike before, wherein you are really required to work on your workstations in your offices. Second, this is an in demand job worldwide. So, given that more companies are now embracing the digital transformation and are into, really working on having more digital data, um, more job positions are really required. Third would be the flexibility of hours. So when you're working in IT, most of the companies are really offering flexibility because they really understand that there are times wherein developers are really, efficient in working at different times of the day. Fourth, this is I think one of the most important thing that you would have observed, especially when COVID happened across the globe, the resiliency of the industry. You will see that there are many IT companies who are actually have an increase in hiring when the pandemic hit because more companies needed to embrace the digital transformation because everything is now being accessed online. And lastly, the strong global community. So more and more companies worldwide are trying to reach out actually to different professionals across the globe, unlike before wherein they would only look for profession within their own country. Okay. So for our IT jobs review, we will cover the four of this: the web development, software engineering, data analytics and science, product and project management. So to start, when we say web development, this is one of the most in-demand area because more and more companies are really trying to fast track the collection of their data set and digitalization of the information that they are actually gathering from their consumers and other customers. So when you will work in web development, you need to understand that it requires you to really have a good and deep understanding of coding, and it would really speed up, or speed up your career, and really highlight your CV if you have at least programming languages. So before, when you're doing web development, the most commonly used programming languages are Microsoft .NET, Java, and PHP. Right now, more and more companies are actually exploring the use of Python as a programming language for web development. And when you work with web development, you need to acknowledge that you need more time to learn the basics, because most of the time, web developers, they really follow certain established best practices and standards in the industry. And when you work with web development, you need more time to do your coding rather than communicating or really interacting with the stakeholders. Most of the time, there are really allocated or dedicated time for you to communicate with other members of the team, but most of the time, you are expected or actually focused on writing down your codes. Software engineering in general is something that is, impossible to join without any IT background. So let's say on my case, when I joined the software engineering space, I have to undergo training in order to understand the entire life cycle and processes, the different tools and technologies that are being used. But even though that's the case, it is still very in demand. So more actually companies are really helping out even the career shifters. So in terms of software engineering, there's really minimal competition, and with that, there are cases wherein you will get high salary. So for the case of web development and software engineering, nowadays there's minimal competition among most of the time .NET developers. That's why most of them are getting higher or competitive salary compared to, let's say, Java or PHP developers. And now, since there are only a few software engineers or web developers who know Python programming, right now it's also a minimal competition and there's a competitive salary among them. So anyone with a web dev and analytics background can really join, because later on, aside from being a web developer, one of the things that you cover in software engineering could also be quality assurance or quality engineers who actually are expected to also know basic programming and automation. So if you're someone who doesn't have coding skills, maybe product and project management is best fit for your skills. So this is a high competition, because nowadays it's really good if there is someone who will manage the delivery of a project or a particular product, because of the importance of managing the budget and the resources that you assign in a product development or a simple project, software project development. So it's really hard to join if you don't have any work experience, because in product and project management, you need to understand the different methodologies, like, let's say, what's the difference of waterfall, what kind of agile methodologies can you use in order to deliver a project on time and of quality. So for this one, it is expected that you will communicate a lot, since you will be engaging with different internal and external stakeholders. So if you're someone whose background is also in analytics, this is very much welcome. So the good thing about product and project management, if you're someone who has a technical background, it will be beneficial for you, especially when you do your project estimates and project timelines. Next is the data analytics and data science. So the good thing about this is that the skills that you actually learn from other IT careers would be very beneficial when you go to data analytics and data science. Take myself as an example. So I actually came from a web development and software engineering practices, and that the skills that I learned from them, from writing down the codes, the best practices of writing down the codes, how to do quality checks, and then also the product and the project management is something that was actually really helpful when I transitioned to data analytics and data science. So this is currently the in-demand skills because there are other companies who are now very advanced in analytics, and there are other companies who are now being aggressive in creating their POCs or other pilot projects. So the good thing with data analytics and data science compared to web development and software engineering is that you don't need to code 24/7. Why? Because aside from writing down your codes, one of the things that you need to do is later on do some visualizations, do some analysis, and perform some researches, and then later on communicate your results to the different stakeholders. If you go through data analytics and data science career track, later on you will learn how to write your codes or scripts from scratch using either SQL and Python scripts. And the good thing about this is that you can start your career from scratch, meaning if you're someone, let's say, who is actually coming from a fresh grad degree, or let's say you are coming from a different professional background, um, there is still an option for you, or there's an opportunity for you to really start your career in analytics and data science. So why working with data is the career of the future? One is because of the multiple career paths. So let's say if you're someone who will, pursue starting a career in data analyst, later on, there's an option for you to go through the track of a data engineer, a data analyst, a business intelligence specialist, and later on, other leadership roles. All the businesses now are are their goal is to become a data-driven decision company. Actually, there are other companies whose target is to become an AI first company. And then lastly, if you go through different websites and look through the different, try to search for some keywords like big data, artificial intelligence, data analytics, it is actually one of the biggest trend of the 5 years. And even, like 5 and 10 years from now, if you try to search for the trend, you will see that this field is actually showing you a career promise. So why working with data is the career of the future? As I've said, if you try to look at the different searches and the different pilot projects that you have and the opportunities, you will see an exponential growth for this particular career. So if let's say you want to pursue a career as a data analyst, these are some of the important tasks that you need to remember when you want to practice this. First is that our most important role is to really extract actionable insights. As you can see here in this diagram, you can compare it to an activities as to how someone plays the Lego blocks. So most organizations collect a lot of raw data in various forms. So let's say in this case, the scattered and the unorganized blocks, this raw data became more meaningful and useful if you organize and combine them. So one of our objectives is to collect the data set from multiple sources, aggregate them into what we call a single source of truth. And then later on, like this random pile of blocks, we sort and organize the data. So with that sorting, filtering that you do, you can check the data quality, the integrity by reviewing also the data types, the missing records, and the incorrect values. And after you are done with these steps, the next important thing is to create your visualization through the use of different charts and graphs. So gone are the days wherein you only look at table values based on basic descriptive statistics. Right now, as shown in the image, we have to arrange these blocks or pieces of raw data in order to come up with meaningful information. And then once you are done with the charts, we proceed with looking for patterns, anomalies, and you try to understand the behavior of the plots that you have generated. So your goal is to analyze this aggregated data to either answer an existing business question or even raise new ones. And then lastly, the most important skill we need to practice as data analytics professional is to be effective communicators. So we have to be compelling in telling the stories behind the data, and explain what happened and why things happen in an organization. So if you will ask, what is the salary range for a data analyst? If you go to different websites, you will see that an average a junior analyst can earn as much as 30 to 50,000 pesos. And then a senior data analyst can really earn as high as 120,000 pesos. If you're going through different career opportunities, or what you need to do is just search for these different keywords, and you will see that there are more than 16,000 jobs in data career track. And it's also one of the easy to start from scratch, meaning, you can do reading of materials, undergo some trainings that will help you speed up uh, the process of getting a career and attract more employers. And then 90% of the jobs are remote. So you can really go for a company that will allow you to work from home, and even actually get exposure from international companies, since more companies are really trying to reach out globally here in Asia market. And then lastly, you can also combine this with freelance projects. So let's say you want to pursue a career track in data analyst as your, let's say, main job, and then later on you can try freelance projects as a data scientist or data engineer. So you can also do that since they are related careers. So now what you can do is start your data analytics from scratch and then find your first project after 3 to 4 months of studying. So with that, see you on our first Excel lesson.